do it with 5.
When he got this classical Martin, it was an easier guitar for him to be able to create that gypsy sound that Django got.
Hey, that's Roy Rogers and Trigger.
I named my guitar Trigger because it's kind of my horse, you know. Roy Rogers had a horse called Trigger, so.
By the time he got Trigger in 1969, Willie had been working in Nashville for nearly a decade, determined to be a star.
Willie had been very successful as a songwriter in Nashville, and that was all well and good, but he was determined to be a performer.
There's another one you might remember. My good friend Billy Walker. The Grand Ole Opry did this one. It's entitled Funny How Time Slips Away. Well, hello there. It's been a long, long time.
He was a traditional country music star that looked like a stray that dressed out of Playboy magazine.
They clean you up and you need the shave.
And the nightlife ain't no good life, but it's my life.
There was that rigid framework that just dictated you have to be this way.
On Christmas Eve 1969, Willie got a call that his house outside Nashville had caught fire.
Last night I came home and I knocked on my door. And I
Came home and rushed in, and I went in and got my guitar and a pound of weed that I had left in there. And I gave it to a friend of mine outside, and I said, go hide that somewhere. And he did. He got rid of it.
And I couldn't believe it was true.
And I saved Trigger, so it was a good day.
The fire turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Willie took it as a sign to leave Music City and return to his roots in his home state of Texas with his new guitar in tow.
Austin was this new music mecca with the Armadillo World headquarters and everybody playing down here.
What Willie found in Austin was a lot of different sounds, a lot of different players that he could kind of cherry pick from. Doug Saul, Townes Van Zandt, Jerry Jeff Walker.
The Austin scene always was a little bit different. It was always an eclectic mix. That's where the term outlaw came from, was people outside of the norm. And that's what Willie was tapping into.
Whiskey River, take my mind.
Austin offered the opportunity for reinvention, and Willie didn't just reinvent himself, he created a whole new musical genre.
I remember an old feed store guy told me, he said, so Willie's now got a bandana around his head, growing a beard, playing country music, the country guys drawing this hippie crowd.
He's basically reinvented himself as this new hybrid country rock master of the universe, and at the center of that was his instrument. It's pretty radical in the sense that no acoustic guitar at that time had been successfully amplified with a pickup.
Trigger was a mainstay of the band. They played it through an amp, and you could get it as loud as you wanted. So music just kind of grew around that guitar.
What he got with the gut string and the amplification was a sound that no one had been getting. I'd seen the Grateful Dead. I knew what jam music was all about. And my jaw kind of dropped. Hey, man, it's psychedelic. And yet, hillbilly, psychedelic hillbilly.
Well, the sound that we have developed over the years, Trigger has had a lot to do with that because of the tone, because of the way Trigger blends in with the piano and the bass and the harmonica, the drums, and all put it together, and it sounds good. But Trigger is naturally a vital part of that.
Needles.